Karnataka is generating taxes. It is generating, but it is not paying out of its pockets. Once the new finance commission came into play, ensured that the states would be given a better pool, 42% when compared to the 32% of what the Congress earlier was giving. We are giving 100 rupees, but we hardly get 20 is in itself a very misrepresented argument. It's so easy to give half-truths. It's so easy to give lies. It's so easy to give misrepresented facts for a politically divisive agenda. What if a soldier says, why should I die for the country? Why don't you die? What if a Bangalorean were to say, we generate a huge amount of taxes. Why should we give it to Khargeji's Kalburgi? Namaskar everyone. There has been a very unfortunate narrative, an unfortunate politically driven, politically motivated narrative that speaks of North India and South India being pitted against each other. We generate a huge amount of tax revenues from South India, but it's been wasted away in North India. That's the kind of a narrative that's going around. Very, very unfortunate. And not only unfortunate, it is untrue and wrong. That's where the next 10 minutes I'm going to tell you why that is wrong. On a philosophical foundation, India has always been Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. That is, we consider each other as one single family. The country is indeed a single family. No way can we ever think that what we are giving more to our own brethren is for someone else. It's for our brothers and sisters of North India. There is no way that you can say you have been gifting out or wasting it on someone else. Secondly, beyond philosophy, it is a constitutional mechanism. Dr. Ambedkar, in all his wisdom, along with the senior leaders, instituted something called a finance commission mechanism, wherein the funds are discussed and then devolved between the center and the state for the overall development of the country. And the argument that just comes out, right, saying that we are a federal country, but federalism has not been taken care, is a very, very laughing stock kind of an argument. Reason? The reason is, Prime Minister, as the CM of Gujarat for 12 long years, understands what the states want. And as the Prime Minister of the country, the first thing that he ever did was, once the new finance commission came into play, ensured that the states would be given a better pool, 42% when compared to the 32% of what the Congress earlier was giving. There is a bit of confusion when people use certain terms like tax that's gone from Karnataka or South India to center, and from there it's come out. And therefore, there is a huge amount of scope for misreporting and misrepresentation intentionally done. I'll let you know why. The finance minister very vividly and clearly made it clear in the parliament that the taxes that go from one particular state doesn't necessarily mean that that state has contributed the taxes. It is just an accounting mechanism wherein the headquarters of that particular company is located in Karnataka. Let's say Infosys has its headquarters in Karnataka. The sales that happens across the country, be it Tamil Nadu, Andhra, Maharashtra, Goa, Madhya Pradesh, even Bengal or Delhi for that matter, generates taxes. The taxes paid by the people of other states. That gets clubbed into one single account because Bangalore happens to be the headquarters of Infosys, and therefore the taxes that go from Infosys and likewise other headquartered companies in Karnataka looks as if Karnataka is generating taxes. It is generating, but it is not paying out of its pockets. It is generating in an accounting sense, but it is not giving out of its pocket because it's come from the pockets of all the other states. Same case with auto manufacturers who are based out of Tamil Nadu. So the point is, we are giving 100 rupees, but we hardly get 20 is in itself a very misrepresented argument. Is that really 100 rupees or probably it's just about 40? Second, if you look at GST, one of the biggest tax transformational reforms ever done in the country by Modi government. Let's say you're giving about 100 rupees as a GST on a particular item. 50 rupees, that is 50% of it, automatically stays back in Karnataka. It doesn't even go to Delhi and comes back. It stays in Karnataka, 50 out of 100. The other 50 goes to Delhi. But what Delhi does it, 42% of that amount, its share, is given across to the pooled account of all states put together. 50 and 42%, which is 21 rupees, becomes 71 rupees. So out of every 100 rupees of taxes, 71 rupees goes back to the states, either to the state of origin, which is 50, and to all the other states put together, which is 21. So collectively, states get 71, while Delhi gets only 29 rupees. Earlier it used to be 39, if you were to be taking the Congress's 32% formula. Even in this 29 rupees, centrally sponsored schemes, investment in places, let's say like HAL or the helicopter manufacturing plant in Tumkur, or the Bangalore-Mysore Expressway, or Bhadravati being given a 5,000 crore commitment, all these things come out of the pockets of the central government. It's so easy to give half-truths, it's so easy to give lies, it's so easy to give misrepresented facts for a politically divisive agenda. We need to look at facts, figures, for us to understand the reality behind it and the truth behind it. Let's look at the fact that generally South India has been doing much better than North India. And one of the key things that you get to look at is IT. The IT-BT research has generated a huge amount of revenue, taxes, jobs, so on and so forth. But come to think of it, Infosys and other big companies, when they started, the government of India gave them tax holidays. They didn't have to pay taxes in the earlier part. Where was this money coming from? It was coming from the center, or the money lost, the tax lost. And then who was cross-subsidizing all these things? Bombay. Maharashtra, the commercial capital of the country, Mumbai, was cross-subsidizing a majority of it. So can Mumbai claim that you people are taking away our money? And if you look at the kind of investments that the central government did in places like BEL or BHEL, it was these BEL engineers who formed the core and the bedrock of the IT companies as it came later on. Of course, the entire ecosystem grew, engineering colleges, researchers, good policy, so on and so forth. But don't forget the fact that the central government had a big role to play via tax holidays, via discounted or a free kind of land, and more importantly, the support from the central PSUs. Why are we forgetting this historical fact? It is this history that makes what India it is today. So let us build an India that is going to be stronger 20 years down the line by we supporting people, let's say in Bihar, or by we supporting people in Orissa, or Jharkhand, or Madhya Pradesh. There is something called a growing pie argument. What does this mean? As the pie becomes bigger, then your ability to get an absolutely bigger amount, even with a smaller percentage, is a given thing. Let's say you have 100% of 100 rupees, which is 100 rupees. But if you get 25% of 1000 rupees, it is 250. Way bigger than the 100 rupees. What this false narrative peddlers don't tell you is that the amount has increased from 100 to 1000. All that they tell you is your percentage has dropped from 100 to 25. Half truth, isn't it? So this kind of a falsity needs to be really called out. Let us take an example of absolute amount of devolution. When you're talking of tax devolution from the center to Karnataka specifically, 10 years of UPA gave you a devolution of about 81,000 crores, while the BJP gave 2,82,000 crores in 9 years. If you take the grants in aid, 10 years of UPA gave you about 60,000 crores, while the BJP in 9 years gave 2,08,000 crores. If you look at the tax buoyancy, the state taxes that later on were subsumed in GST had a buoyancy of just about 0.72 pre-GST, 12 to 16. But with GST coming in, the same 4 years later on showed a buoyancy of about 1.2, which means that the leakages are plugged, the states are getting more taxes, and you are benefiting. Karnataka today is number 2 in the country with respect to the GST tax collection. We have even put Gujarat behind us. What are we talking in terms of saying there is less tax for us absolute amount wise? The sad part, the unfortunate part is, if this kind of a divisive argument, if this kind of a tukde gang argument is taken ahead, where will this end? Look at the number of taxpayers, actual taxpayers who pay more than probably 10,000 or 15,000 a year income tax. Roughly about 2 crores. Out of a total population of 140 crores, will they not be right using the same argument saying it's our hard-earned money, why should I give it to the remaining 140 crore people? What if a soldier says, why should I die for the country, why don't you die? What if a Bangalorean were to say, we generate a huge amount of taxes, why should we give it to Khargeji's Kalburgi? This kind of a divisive argument, this kind of a tukde argument is what exactly Prime Minister Modi is against. He spoke of a term which the finance minister very clearly elaborated: secularism in action. What does this mean? any and every welfare scheme of the government being given to a person just because he or she is qualified to receive it, and by no stretch of imagination, caste, creed, religion comes into play. But if you have to state the facts and figures using these kinds of divisive arguments, a Muslim population, which is about 18% of the country, gets about 36% of Mudra, 36% of Kisan Samman Nidhi, 36% of Ujjwala. What does this mean? That is a true secularism in action, wherein someone who needs it needs to be given. And the final word, the people who are making this kind of a tukde argument, north versus south, have completely forgotten that they are against the ideals and practice of Dr. Ambedkar. Why? Because you are talking of giving money to the poor in Jharkhand and Bihar and so on and so forth. Who are these poor people? 80% of them belong to the SC community, to the ST community, to the OBC community. Which means to say only an anti-Dalit person like these Tukde gang can speak of the fact using parochialism, regionalism as a fig leaf to deny them the money. Aren't you denying the funds that is due to our brethren who come from the SC/ST community using the terms of parochialism and North India versus South India divide? How right is this? Unfortunate it is. It's time that each one of us stood up for what we think is the right thing. Sabka prayas to build a Ek Bharat, Shreshth Bharat. Namaskar.